Ugh, this is not good. This definitely explains the reaction I have been getting from our customers. When you're expecting the sweet flavor of one of the Hawaiians' favorite dessert and you get pickle juice? Well, that's kind of hard to forgive. But forgiveness is always necessary, especially when it comes to forgive the people in your family. There's a story in the Bible of a guy named Joseph who made a choice to forgive his family. Joseph had a lot of brothers. Of all the boys in his family, Joseph was Daddy's favorite. This made his brothers so mad. To make matters worse, Joseph's dad made a special gift just for him. It was a really fancy robe that had many colors. Now, this might not seem like a big deal, but back then, most of the clothes had only one plain color. So to get a robe that was so bright and colorful was special for sure. So Joseph's brothers devised a plan to get rid of him once and for all. They threw Joseph into a deep, dark pit and planned to leave him there all alone. When the brothers saw some men passing by on the way to Egypt, they came up with a new plan and sold him as a servant instead. Then the brothers ran back home and told their father that his favorite son had been killed by a wild animal. As time went by, a lot happened to Joseph, and pretty soon he became a servant to Pharaoh. God was with him and gave him a special ability to understand dreams. He was able to warn Pharaoh that a famine was coming to the land. They needed to stock up food for 7 years so they could survive the years where there would not be food. Pharaoh listened to Joseph, and just like that, Joseph went from being a slave for Pharaoh to actually being in charge for him. Wow, people from other countries came to Joseph to buy food so they could feed their families. Joseph's brothers came from a long way off, and just like everybody else, they had to go through Joseph to get food. When they saw Joseph, they did not know he was their brother, but he definitely knew who they were. Joseph could not hide who he was from his brothers. He could not control his sadness anymore. He started to cry and ask everybody but his brothers to leave. Joseph continued to cry when he told them who he was. At first, his brothers were confused and afraid. They had done a horrible thing to Joseph, and he could have thrown them into prison to pay them back. But instead, Joseph chose to forgive them and gave them all land and food they would need to survive. When we feel hurt by someone we love, we can always follow the example of Joseph and decide to forgive them, even if they don't say that they are sorry. We can also ask God to help us to forgive, remembering that He has forgiven all wrong things we have done. Now, you could stay mad at Scout and try to think of ways to get revenge, but that will make you feel miserable on the inside. Instead, choose to forgive Scout, knowing that God will help you.